Spoon, this obviously wraps the season, but also your first season in the WNBA as a coach. What's your biggest takeaway?
You know, it's tough to see my players like that. It's hurtful. To see them speak about things that they've had to go through outside of the game of basketball. How it took a toll on their mental. These are the things that I knew. And I think a lot of times people don't recognize what these players go through just to play the game. How hard it is to come in every day, practice hard every day, go and play in front of thousands and thousands of people, and then reading those things that they had to read about themselves, and me too. It doesn't bother me. So I'm trying to be as helpful as I could to them in those areas of life. Because it could take a toll on young people. But what I love about this group, and I said it to them, is they had a no give up spirit. They would never give up. They always gave everything they had. Every ounce of energy they had, they gave. They left everything out there. And if you can leave everything out there, you can walk away knowing that I left everything. All my juice is out there. All my energy was out there. All my effort was out there. You can live with that. And as a coach, to watch them play as hard as they did, you know, there's no excuses. We don't make excuses because we didn't have our full team. We knew we still had to play. And it was hard. It was difficult to sustain the energy down the stretch. But what they did to represent that uniform the way they're supposed to, representation of themselves, who they are, and they representing that uniform, I couldn't ask for anything more.
When you think about those, what you guys had to overcome, the injuries, I guess, how different do you really think this team would have been? You know, even going back to like Elizabeth's injury, how much of a difference do you really think that all would have made? Because this team was still very young, still very inexperienced. So I'm just curious what you genuinely think would have.
But when you talk about going all the way back and having E-Will with us, along with Cardoza, along with Angel, along with Kennedy and Diamond, and they all being healthy. You're talking about a team with an incredible production from your bench as well. You have an incredible bench production as well. But you're talking about losing all of that, and what all of that brings to our team. You lost a lot. We lost a lot with all of them being out. And without a doubt in my mind, we would have definitely been in the playoffs, not fighting for an 8th seed. We would have been fighting for an 8th seed. We would have definitely been up in numbers with the group that we had. Unfortunately, in this game, you know, injuries happen, and just unfortunately happened to us down the stretch of a stretch that was so crucial.
DJ Harding, Chicago State of Mind. Lindsay Allen has been an underrated player for you this season. So I just wanted to ask, what did you like most about her game this season?
I've said this 1,000 times. She's a great leader. She came out and she led our troops. She knows how to steer the ship. You know, she took on a lot of scoring for us as well. With people being out, she decided she's going to inject herself, but yet making sure that she did her job first as a point guard, as to facilitate. And she injected herself. She did a heck of a job of doing that. But then she's a pest defensively. You know, so many things that you do as a point guard, everything is initiated through you, whether that's the beginning of the offense or the beginning of the defense. And she did a heck of a job all season long for us.
And then follow up, we were talking about the injuries, and it's been a long season. You guys battled hard. So I just wanted to ask, what was your message to the team heading into the off season?
I think I'll leave that in the locker room.
Coach, obviously injuries are out of your control, and you take the team out there that you have. But there seemed to be a critical window after the Olympic break where the team goes, I think, 1 for 9 in that start. And I'm curious, from your point of view, what had changed? What were teams doing to you? What were you sort of failing to execute in that particular stretch?
As I said, we just didn't execute. We weren't the healthiest team coming back in the second half. Had a few players that were not very well at all out there playing, giving everything that that they had. But we made no excuses. They made no excuses. They stepped on the floor and they tried to play anyway. Tried to give everything that they had. And unfortunately, this is what has happened down the stretch. You know, it's an unfortunate thing because this is what I do know. If we were a healthy basketball team, that we would definitely be a playoff team, without a doubt in my mind.
What do you think is, I know the season just ended, there's not been a ton of time for reflection, but just immediately when thinking about next season, what do you see as being the biggest need that needs to be addressed this offseason?
Well, I just want to take my time with that before even answering that, because you know, the way you feel after losing and knowing that you're out for the season, you want to make sure that everything you say is the correct thing to say and say it in the right way. So I'll take my time with thinking about that, along with our general manager and the organization, and we'll just go from there. I just don't want to make sure that I say the right thing. There's a lot of thoughts going through my mind because I worry about our young players and what they're thinking and how they're feeling. But a piece of the message in the locker room was that I love them. I love them. I love everything about them and what they bring on a daily basis to help me to grow and to give them an idea of where your growth truly comes from. Your growth doesn't always come from the good. It doesn't always come from the wins. Your growth comes from being uncomfortable. Your discomfort. You'll find a lot of growth there. And I know I have. I know I've found a lot of growth with myself as a coach. And I know that they have too. So we'll continue to grow and take the feeling that we have right now, and not want to feel it again.
We'll go back to Jason.
Coach, you said you're worried about what your young players are thinking and feeling. What are you worried that they're thinking?
No, I'm always worried about them. My priority. Every one of them. I'm not just an X and O person. I'm not just about that. No. It's not just what it is. There's a line that they know that cannot be crossed, but it's not about the X's and O's. There's relationships here. You know, you're always thinking about how they feel, what they think, how they feel about themselves. You have my player sitting here right before you with tears rolling down her face. Do you think I'm not worried about how she's feeling? Absolutely. You know, I'm last. I can take care of me, but I want to make sure I take care of them. That's I prioritize that. They're my priority. So I'm gonna worry about how they feel, what they think, how they think of themselves, what I think of them, and how I think of them. Yes, I'm gonna make sure they know. And the first thing I said to them, I love you. It's the bottom line, is I love them. We'll figure it all out. No doubt in my mind. Come back bigger and stronger.
Last few, we'll go to Carly Bell on Zoom.
Hey Coach, just a question about the game. Isabel Harrison finished with a double-double, and I know a couple weeks ago you called her a walking double-double, and her goal this year was to just heal. To kind of see her end this season in a statistical high note with a double-double and just have this growth that you've seen this season, what does that mean for you to just see her kind of come back from this injury and end on a high note?
Well, to come back from that type of injury, you know, there's a level of confidence that you have to gain too, just about getting back on the floor. And a lot of times what most people say and believe is when you come back from an injury and your first year back on the floor is normally you're kind of testing yourself, getting your feet back underneath your legs underneath you. But Izzy kind of grew a little bit faster, went to another level pretty fast with her healing and being able to step out on the floor and play with that confidence that we wanted her to play with. And yes, I've always told her that she's a walking double-double. It's all about you. It's all about what you want from it and how you can do it consistently. So to see her do it down the stretch was good to see.
We've got time for one more person.
Coach, I know it's hard to project into the future at the moment, and it's really difficult because things just ended for you to kind of reflect. But I'm sort of trying to get a picture in my mind for what you are thinking and feeling, just like in this moment right now. Like not tomorrow in the off season, not the months that have gone by, but like what is like sitting on your heart and in your mind?
I hate losing. Hate it. That's what's on my mind. Hate knowing that I'm not going back into the gym with these young ladies in the morning. Hate it. I love this game so much that losing irritates the crap out of me. But it motivates me. And it's going to motivate this team.
Thanks, Coach.